But if small businesses across the country had any time to pore over the recent budget, what would their assessment have been? There was certainly no dedicated flagship programme for small business at a time when economic conditions for many are getting more difficult, not easier. Well, I'm joined now from Canberra by Peter Strong, Executive Director of the Council of Small Businesses of Australia. Peter, welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
Now, the new Treasury Secretary, Martin Parkinson, was very supportive of the budget today, saying it got the balance right. Did it get it right for small business, retailers, service providers, manufacturers?
Well, it didn't at all. It balanced things nicely for big business. It was certainly a big business budget, but I think, as you said before, what was missing was the small business sector, and it's disappointing. We make up 96% of all businesses in Australia, and obviously that's lots and lots of little people and lots of families. And we were just missing as a focus. There were bits here and bits there, and I pored over the books for 4 hours to find them, and there was some there, without a doubt, but there was no focus on us. And I think what it really highlights is the need for a plan. And I think the Treasury head made mention of the 1960s when 40% of exports went to the UK. We also had Bob Menzies back then, who focused on small business and knew what they were about, and he had a strategy for that sector. And that's what's missing now. We might be exporting a lot of dirt and what have you over to China, but there's no strategy for small business. We're not mentioned, we're not thought about, we're not considered. And the problem with that is an unhealthy small business sector is not good for the future.
Well, one of the bits that you mentioned, of course, was training. Small business do struggle to train people from a cost point of view, and yet they often need experienced people. Is this initiative going to help at all?
Well, not that I can find in it. It's all focused on big business, and I noticed the big business organisations came out and praised it a lot. I noticed Skills Australia have an event coming up where it's all big business that are there, and again, half the workforce.
They've got the National Workforce Development Fund. That's $558 million, I think, and small business is a part of that, but they would have to put up a third of the funding, I think.
Well, which they can't afford, especially if you're in an area where there's big change, such as retail and what have you. And the problem with that as well is you need someone to go out and engage with them. You have one person with 5 employees, they're not going to be able to spend half a week talking to someone about training. So I hope that built into that money is some money for someone to go out at the regional level and work with the small businesses that need that sort of help. Otherwise we'll be left out of the training area, which won't, again, be good for the health of the economy.
Of course, the Treasurer did mention, he made quite a lot of what the government would do in his speech for the regions. Do you see any real benefits for small business behind that rhetoric?
Well, I think there is. I mean, even though we weren't mentioned much in it, which is, again, the need for a plan, is that the more you spread money around the regions, the less likely big business are going to snaffle it and use it for their own purposes, and the more likely that little newsagents and retail shops and contractors, etc., can have their share of the spoil, so to speak. If you leave it in 1 or 2 spots, then believe me, big business will take it.
I want to talk about tax now, and one of the things that you're calling for is that the job of collecting super contributions, which small businesses now do, is taken over by the tax office. Now, the government is trying to shed jobs in the bureaucracy. I'm sure they'll have issues with that idea.
Well, the thing with small business, and this is the most disappointing thing from the budget, is we got more red tape added instead of taken away. And the $5,000 immediate claim for a car, which equates to about $1,700, if you went to most small businesses, they'd say, look, I just want to spend more time with my family, or I want to have more money and not give it to the bookkeeper to spend on a holiday, rather than do all this red tape that the government wants us to do. And superannuation, especially if you've got high turnover of staff, it takes hours and hours of your time, and it's really easy. Just stick it in PAYG, send it off to the tax office, and then let the super funds, the tax office and the taxpayer sort it out. And it's a lot easier, it's a lot more effective. You won't have 2 million employers talking to 3,000 super funds about 12 million employees. Instead, you'll have the super funds dealing with one point, which is the tax office.
All right, well, good luck with that one. One change, tax change that they did put through, or want to put through, involves quite a big change to family trusts, which I think there's a sort of view that those trusts are being abused in some cases. What sort of impact might that have on small business?
Well, we're still assessing that impact, and if I can say, this is an approach that is worrying from the government about the way they approach perceived problems in the tax system. So the trusts are one area where if some people are abusing the trust, it's probably very wealthy people, I would imagine, which isn't normally small business. And they're doing the same with the independent contractors. So you've got some contractors are certainly rorting the system, and what they're saying they're going to do now is target every contractor to try and catch the few. I think that we've got to step back and have a look and make sure that we are getting the people or targeting the people that are being dishonest and not punishing everybody. And the trust area is something we have to keep an eye on.
All right. Now, I know, finally, that you are not happy with our regulators, neither the ACCC nor ASIC. You've got 2 new chiefs on the way there. What should change?
Well, let me say, first of all, with ASIC, is that the last 9 months we've engaged quite well with ASIC. At the commissioner level, it's been quite good, Michael Dwyer in particular, and we're working towards a strategy there, which is all we can ask for. With the ACCC, I think what we're hoping for is a focus on our sector and a focus on communicating with small business and understanding that we're just people and we're not equal with Westfields. That's been our biggest gripe, I suppose, with the ACCC over the last few years, is we're treated as equal with Westfield and with big business, and we're not. We're just people, and we can't deal with things the way they do, and we want to have that sort of treatment.
Peter Strong, I thank you very much for coming in and talking to Late Line Business.
Thank you.